Hello students, I'm Surabhi Naruka and I welcome you all on this channel. In the last video, we were discussing cell and the components of cell. In this video, I will be giving you detail of these cell components. The first component that we'll study is cell membrane. What is a cell membrane? Cell which separates the cell cytoplasm from the outer content of the cell. In animals, cell membrane is also known as plasma membrane. In plants, it is known as plasma lemma. So, the terminologies plasma membrane, cell membrane, and plasma lemma are all same. The term cell membrane was coined by Kramer and Nageli in the year 1885. A composition of cell membrane. Cell membrane is made up of two biomolecules, lipids and proteins. The lipids in cell membrane are of two types, phospholipids and cholesterol. And the proteins are also of two types, the integral proteins and peripheral proteins. Integral proteins means these protein molecules are either partially or completely embedded in the lipid layer, whereas the peripheral, by the name it suggests that it is on the periphery or on the surface of the cell membrane. Now let's see the structure of the cell membrane. In this diagram, if you can see that there is a phospholipid layer. Phospholipids are these round balls with the spiral tails. Now, these balls are known as the phospholipid head, which are hydrophilic in nature and facing towards the outer side of the cell membrane. And these spiral tails are hydrophobic in nature and they are facing inside. Now, there are two such layers of phospholipids, and so it is known as phospholipid bilayer. Then you can see these blue color molecules present on the surface as well as embedded in the phospholipid bilayer. These are the protein molecules. The one which are embedded, the longer ones are the integral proteins. The one which are on the surface are the peripheral proteins. Now, some of the protein molecules also work as channel proteins, helping in the transportation of certain molecules which cannot move across the cell membrane by themselves. So, these proteins facilitate their transportation across the cell membrane. Now, along with lipids and proteins, carbohydrates are also found in the cell membrane. The carbohydrates are attached on the surface of the cell membrane. When they are attached to the proteins, they are known as glycoproteins, and when they are attached to the lipids, they are known as glycolipids. Both glycolipids and glycoproteins, they act as receptors or signals for the cell membrane. So this is all about the structure of cell membrane, and this structure of cell membrane was proposed and explained by two scientists, Singer and Nicholson, and the structure is known as the fluid mosaic model of cell membrane, where which states that the large protein molecules are embedded in the sea of phospholipids. The phospholipids provide fluidity to the cell membrane, which helps in the lateral movement of the large protein molecules. So I hope the structure of cell membrane is clear to you all. Now, the functions of plasma membrane or the cell membrane. First of all, it is forming a barrier or boundary of the cell, helping in separating the inner content of the cell from the outer environment. Secondly, semi-permeable nature of the plasma membrane. It is a very important characteristic of plasma membrane that it allows only selected substances to pass through it. And this property of plasma membrane is helping the cell to maintain the internal environment. That is, the optimal conditions of the cell is maintained by the selective nature of plasma membrane. See, these internal conditions are required because, see, whatever life processes is taking place, it takes place inside the cytoplasm. So, the internal conditions should be steady and there should not be changes because of the movement of molecules. So, this is regulated by the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane का main function ही होता है to regulate the movement of molecules and to check the molecules which are needed to come in and which are not needed to go out of the cell. Okay, so this is about the selective nature of plasma membrane and it is required to maintain the homeostasis of cell or homeostasis inside the cell. Third important feature is that it is facilitating or it is helping in the transportation of various molecules through different mechanisms. Now, there are two basic types of transport which you will be studying in the next video. Now, coming to the next part, that is the cell wall. Cell wall is a rigid structure providing mechanical support to the cell, and it is actually the outer covering in plant, animal, and bacterial cell. In case of plants, the cell wall is providing mechanical support and also help in maintaining the shape of the plant cell. Cell wall is dead in nature. It is a non-living structure and is completely permeable to all different types of substances. Cell wall, in case of plant cell, is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose. In fungi, it is made up of chitin. And in the bacterial cell, the cell wall is made up of complex polysaccharides called mucopolysaccharides or peptidoglycan. Because of the presence of cell wall in the plant cell, the cell does not burst in a hypotonic solution. And when this plant cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, the cytoplasm of the plant cell shrinks and it gets collected on one side, separating from the cell wall. This type of cell is called as plasmolyzed cell. About hypotonic, hypertonic, plasmolyzed cell and what is osmotic bursting, I will be telling you in the next video when we will study about transportation across the cell membrane and the process of diffusion and osmosis. Alright, students, now we will compare cell wall with cell membrane. अभी कोई differences बताएगा? I hope आपको पता हो तो please write in the comments. मैं फिर भी आपको बताती हूँ. Cell membrane is a living structure. Cell wall is a dead structure. Cell membrane is lipoproteinaceous in nature. It is made up of lipids and proteins, whereas cell wall is made up of carbohydrates. Cell membrane is semi-permeable, whereas cell wall is completely permeable. Cell membrane is present in all types of cells, whether prokaryotic, eukaryotic, plant or animal, whereas cell wall is the characteristic feature of only plant, fungal and bacterial cell. It is not found in animal cells. It is the outermost covering in bacterial cell, fungal cell and plant cell. So I hope this this topic is clear to you all. If you have any doubt or you want to write any suggestion, please drop your comments. I will be glad to see and hear from you all. And please like and subscribe the channel so that you don't miss the upcoming video. It will be on the topic cell. I will be completing your 9th class biology and various topics. Whichever topic you find out, just write it down so that I will make the next video on that particular topic. Thank you. Bye.